Hello guys, and welcome once again to the Pro Dota Cup series by Hitbox TV. We are in the second match of the day, well, in the first best of two, second match of the day between the guys of the Mongolz and XIAODIAN, the Singaporean team. Now I know. And the Mongolians. XIAODIAN come in fresh this season. They prove that they are actually a pretty decent team by beating 4-5-8 production, and now are facing some of the stronger contestants in this scene, that being the Mongolz, and they want to prove that they can also beat them. And they actually did, because in the first game, XIAODIAN come back amazingly, minute 40 or so. After being lost most of the game, they actually managed to make it just at the very end by getting like 2 great pickoffs, forcing a dieback, and then winning the game. That was insane. It was insane. How did they even do that? XIAODIAN forcing an error from Mongolz because they got a bit nervous, and then they really punished it, playing very well. So, fantastic job by XIAODIAN. We're seeing if they can at least win, if they can also win game number 2, or if Mongolz will achieve the expected results and finally tie the first game in the ProDota SCA Cup. Mainly because they haven't tied, nobody's tied a single game yet. It's always been 2-0, so let's hope the morale hit is not too strong yet. That said, guys, my name is DSwordfish. I will be your caster for today. Hope you enjoy the cast. Let's get right into the draft, shall we? For the Mongolz, we have the Earth Spirit, the Crystal May, and Nyx Assassin already picked up. Very strong lanings already. XIAODIAN will repeat with the Ursa, this time combining it with a Darkseer and a Disruptor. I do like that Ursa with Darkseer pick. It works much better. The Disruptor also helps you out considerably. You're up against an Earth Spirit. The Crystal Maiden is very strong against Ursa, but Earth Spirit can't do much because if you're rolling boulders against you, you're gonna eat him up, regardless of if you have silence or whatever. You can always enrage the Boulders Mash away if you're very concerned, or just BKB the silence away. And honestly, this is a great BKB game, so Mongolz is going to have a hard time later on once the Ursa grabs his BKB. The Disruptor is really good as well with the Ursa because you can punish anyone's positioning, and with the Ursa you burst them down fast enough. The second, say Mongolz is like planning a team fight and they back out because they think, it's not a good team fight, but there's still 5 of them there. You don't want to force a team fight either. So you glimpse one back, Ursa beats him in 2 seconds, and then you just kind of walk away. And that works fantastically for the guys of XIAODIAN, as they don't need to really bother with a full team fight when they don't need to. They can just get pickoffs even though the enemy team is standing as 5. So what you accomplish is that the enemy team is actually they're not being able to amplify their farm by spreading out and using all the resources on the map, so they're actually reducing the amount of experience they get and reducing the amount of gold they get, but at the same time you're still punishing them as if they were doing that with pickoffs, right? So it's fantastic. This combo is actually really lethal, and you also have the Darkseer search with the Ursa, so that works wonderfully. Clearly though, XIAODIAN wants to win the lanes. They don't want to subject themselves to the Crystal Maiden. Probably going to pick up pretty nice support against Earth Spirit in the mid lane. Maybe a Death Prophet comes to mind for XIAODIAN as something that's particularly good against Earth Spirit. A Quap as well. Earth Spirit, TA, Quap, Death Prophet, and Lena maybe would be the heroes I would think of in the lane to just beat the Mongolz. A Sniper would be terrible because even though he does win against Invoker, he gets crushed by the whole team. Right, that's it. I do actually like the Death Prophet very much because you do have a very early game lineup. The Tuscan Darkseer combo is also very powerful. You know that. And okay, the Naga Siren. Thank you guys. I'm a solo caster, mind you. So whenever I get a Naga Siren game, it's just the joy of my life, because I'm thinking, yes, I get to spend the next 90 minutes casting Dota. That's if I'm lucky. Otherwise, it's just going to be a 120 game with literally people with me sleeping in the game because of the Naga. Oh well. Anyway, the Mongols will be picking up their 5th guy now. They need a carry to deal with this Naga Siren, especially. It came as the last pick, so it's quite a surprising pick. I don't think they know that XIAODIAN plays Naga Siren, but everyone in SCA plays Naga Siren because of Miracle. So the anti-mage would be the choice for Mongolz. I like this anti-mage choice actually. Despite the Disruptor really countering you, you're pretty decent against the Ursa. You can clear the Naga Siren illusions pretty well. Only issue is they do have a root. Actually, I don't like the anti-mage that much. They have a root, they have a stun that pierces BKB, they have a silence that can also stop your BKB from happening if, well, you do decide to go with BKB, which might be the choice this game. And a lot of physical damage once they catch you, so maybe anti-mage might be very crushed this game. The Naga Siren is not going to deal too much damage to him early on because of the Radiance is all magical damage, so you don't care much about it. And because of that, because of the mana shield, right? And you don't care too much about the mischance either. So that's alright against Naga Siren, and you're actually going to really out-farmer her in the early game. So as long as she doesn't get her Radiance at minute 15, 17 or so, you should be able to out-farm her and just be much more aggressive early on. So I see what Mongolz is doing. They try to peak much earlier. But XIAODIAN has a lineup that maybe it doesn't peak early because Naga Siren obviously is, well, I mean she peaks super early, super late. But the rest of the team, you have an Ursa, which creates a lot of space for your Naga Siren. You have the combination of the Darkseer Tusk as well, which is really nice. The Snowball plus the Iron Shell. The Disruptor that helps you out to get early kills and early pickoffs. So in general, it's not like the guys from XIAODIAN are too far off in terms of... Or it's not like they're too bad in the early game, because you're also fighting against an Invoker and an Anti-Mage, both of which will want to AFK farm for quite a while, and that's not entirely good. The Anti-Mage and the Invoker both need their big core items, Battle Fury, Ags. By the time you get both, it's around minute 20, and Naga Siren's been allowed to free farm the whole time, and you don't have enough pressure with the rest of your picks to actually force her rotation, because the Earth Spirit is not too strong against Naga Siren, neither is the Crystal Maiden, because she can dispel both of those spells, both the Rolling Boulder Slow and the Frostbite, with a mirror image. I believe it's still called mirror image. Yeah, it is. Okay. They change all these spells. I don't know if it's going to be mirror image of the deep or 10 sirens or whatever. I mean, her spells are really simple too. I don't know why they didn't change hers as opposed to the Slaughters. I mean, Slaughters was Slithering Crush, and then he had what, Bash and amplify damage. Amplify damage is literally a very basic name, and that's Sprint. Yeah, but Naga Siren has literally mirror image and snare. I mean, not too big a deal. Riptide. Okay. Not too characteristic either, but not like many. I mean, when I think about it, I thought like, yeah, Nyx's okay, Vendetta, even Spike Carpet is pretty cool, but it's not like many of the spells are that creative. Invokers are obviously very creative, so is Earth Spirits, especially for casters. It seems like every new hero has more or longer spells. You know, when the Earth Spirit and the Oracle came out, you had the Purifying Flames, False Promise, Fortunes, and Fate's Edict. Oh my god. And first, we had the Geomagnetic Grip. Jesus Christ, that spell to say. Boulder Smash and Rolling Boulder roll off the tongue, but Geomagnetic Grip is hard. Right, that said, guys, let's get right into the game. And allow me to present myself before we do so. My name is DSwordfish. I will be your caster for today. Let's see what the teams have for us today. Gentlemen, in the right-hand side, sorry, left-hand side, we have bottom... the Radiant team, this time being XIAODIAN. Gentleman on the Naga Siren in the mid position. Sorry about that. Love it. Will be the Darkseer in the off lane. As the carry, we have Speed Draw on the Ursa, and the two supports being Jaeger on the Disruptor, and finally Dian on the Tusk. Tusk without, by the way, any Poison Orb. So Masquerade should be able to just outrun him with those Boots of Speed. Really hard to catch up to Nyx Assassin early on. I don't know if they're planning on giving the Poison Orb to maybe the Ursa, or just no Poison Orb at all. I do favor Poison Orb over Boots, but I guess Boots if you want to gank more lane, so this is going to be more of a roaming Tusk. Right, that said, for the guys at Mongolz in the dire side, well, they're actually going to be going on Love It, but with the Rolling Boulder is not enough to kill him just yet, even with a Poison Orb slow. They can take a lot of his mana out, though, which is important early on, because the Darkseer really suffers from mana problems until he gets that Soul Ring. So if Sanka can not only delay the Soul Ring, but also delay make him have mana problems beforehand, it's even better, because he won't be able to Iron Shell to get that Soul Ring eventually. And Proxy knows he can play aggressively because it's only level 1 Iron Shell and a Dark Shield with very little amount of mana. That said, let's present the teams real quickly. Mongolz, or the second team real quickly. Mongolz on the dire side. We have Ariuka and as the Crystal Maiden in the support position. In the mid lane, it's R on the Invoker. As the off laner, Mr. Nyx played by Masquerade. Earth Spirit played by Proxy here. In the second support position, and finally our carry is going to be the Anti-Mage played by Sanke. Great. So good job on Mongolz doing that. They have a pretty solid team actually. If it wasn't because of the Naga Siren pick, I think their team would be quite solid. Oh Jesus. Yeah, sorry about that. That was my camera issue. I completely forgot about that. I completely forgot how to draft pick screen. First time it happens this tournament. Apologies. That's really unfortunate. Sorry, Safanius. That's not something I wanted to do. Usually I don't do that, but it's, again, like I said, early in the morning, it's just a hassle. And this happens so often. Alright, careful, gentlemen. He comes in with a Riptide. Oh, Rolling Boulder to steal the double damage room. There's a delay. I just read this late, Phineas. There's a delay, so it's gonna be fine now. But obviously for that, it's not gonna. Who knew? There's a delay of 2 minutes in the stream, which is why I just read your comment and I saw it and I changed it. Apologies, really. Luckily we didn't miss the first blood or anything. Right. Let's see. Masquerade versus Speed Draw on this bottom lane. I don't think Speed Draw is going to be able to do much. It's what happens when you're camera and casting, and camera casting and also the streamer. I don't think the Speed Draw can actually get many kills into the Nyx Assassin. Nyx is actually quite strong against an Ursa in the lane because you can always impale him. He doesn't have any sort of magic immunity. You can harass him a lot with the impales. The mana burn is not dangerous because it doesn't deal too much damage, but it allows you to play a bit more aggressively. Yeah, the Crystal Main's aura as well to help you out, and the Spike Carpus in case the Ursa doesn't want to attack you. It has no way to dispel that Spike Carpus. The only thing that's really annoying about this is the Tusk's Ice Shard. So you actually... There's some builds when you're playing against Tusk and Nyx Assassin that you max the Spike Carpus to punish those Ice Shards because it's a very high damage spell in the early game, rather than grabbing the second point and impale and getting also lower cooldown as Spike Carpus and more damage. More stun time. Jaeger though might die against Proxy. Proxy is following him to the ends of the earth, and those Ice Shards will just close them in together, and Proxy will give him a good hug and finish him off, as the Ursa cannot find the Nyx Assassin main while Proxy is fighting against Tusk. Who's gonna win? In fact, Proxy actually has slightly more damage thanks to that Fairy Fire and a bit more healing, and same amount of armor, so it's actually a very even matchup. The Rolling Boulder is ready for Proxy. He's going to use the Boulder Smash first. Once the Rolling Boulder away, the Earthshock is still slow even though has the Rolling Boulder into the trees. Still has the TP, so he should be fine, and will TP as the Rolling Boulders away. There's no way of stunning him out with that, so that's going to work wonderfully. Thanks, Aphanius. You're a very chill viewer. I'm enjoying your presence on the stream. So... Now, gentlemen, in this mid lane, we haven't looked at the matchup in this mid lane either because we have looked at the bottom lane for now, but not to really invoke versus Naga Siren. It's going to be a very still lane. There's no intention for either of them to kill each other, and it actually works out for both of them, interestingly enough, where both the Invoker wants to get his Midas because he knows his Midas is better off than the Naga Siren. Or than the Naga Siren's timing for Radiance, but he also knows that if he doesn't put any pressure on the Naga Siren, she's gonna just burst, bolt, and just snowball out of control. Naga, on the other hand, wants to actually stop the Midas activation by being a bit aggressive with the Riptides, but she actually went for more levels of Mirror Image, which I can only presume is to increase your farm speed. Which means that she's gone for the other route, saying, okay, it's an Invoker, I know he's going to take time and he can't put any pressure or much pressure on me early on, so what I'm going to do instead is just go for a lot of mirror images, go and farm the jungle as efficiently as I can, and out-farm him. That's the whole goal of the Naga Siren, and it will work pretty well. And yeah, we do see a Poison Orb on the Ursa, so that's why we didn't see one on the Tusk. That makes a lot of sense. Tusk goes roaming, and then the Ursa goes for Poison Orb. And to be fair, I just like having the Poison Orb on Tusk regardless, even if he was going roaming. Going for early boots is fine, and then go for... You go for early boots on the Tusk, and then go for a Poison Orb afterwards to just increase your rolling potential. Yeah. Okay, this Nyx is doing the dance of the last hit. I want this last hit. Ursa, just let me take it and fail. Screw you. Screw you, Ursa. I'll take the last hit. And the Poison Orb did not trigger in time. This Ursa did not, this Nyx did not really gauge his abilities well. That was a bad Spike Carpus. If it had to use it a bit later, he could have gotten the kill. Instead, they just waiting for the Impale to come off cooldown, or sorry, the Rolling Boulder to come off cooldown, or the Impale to be available. A Sunstrike won't hit on Speed Draw either, so in the end, this Ursa will make it out alive. Even though, like I said, they could have gotten the kill. No, but they do get with the Rolling Boulder onto Jaeger. Jaeger with a glimpse, so it should be fine. That's a considerable amount of damage you dealt with just a single Rolling Boulder and a couple auto attacks, though, so that's not bad. Forced the Disruptor to play a bit more defensively if he wants to stay in the lane and have experience. Because after all, he is a support, so he is much more fragile than, for example, say the Ursa when he stays in lane. Because the Ursa, if you harass him a bit, he might just harass you back, whereas the Disruptor's like, okay, please don't touch me, please don't touch me, please don't touch me. Now, this lane in the middle, what's happening in the mid lane is interesting because you see the Tusk has rotated here just to put a bit of lane presence. And since Tusk's body is pretty decent in the sense that he has a good HP and armor. Oh, okay, wait. Down bottom. Impale. Now the Sunstrike as well. Jaeger's as good as dead, but in comes the Ursa. This would not be the best time to fight. Proxy's trying to run away. There's a body block, but the Ursa gets them anyway. His claws apparently are extensible. And now he'll finish off Masquerade, make a mashed Nyx Parade. And with that, the Ursa will get a double kill in this bottom lane. Pretty happy with that, honestly. I mean, he does sacrifice the Disruptor, but in exchange gets a kill on the offlaner, and all that experience is for him, all that gold is for him. Ice Shard, ooh, that Penguin slides right into Ariuka's mouth and hits him quite hard, but the Tusk will be wow, will be destroyed by the rolling boulder. Now Sunstrike hitting the Darkseer as well, with the Frostbite ensuring he does not go anywhere, even with that surge. And that trust that Mongolz has in each other, knowing that Frostbite is going to come out, and thus using the Sunstrike in time, is able to get them that kill on the Darkseer. And what's important there, though, as well, is the fact that if you consider is the fact that the Tusk got killed so early by just a rolling boulder. The damage of rolling boulder is decent, honestly. 100 damage early on that's a pretty good nuke, especially against an enemy support. So boom, it's brought him down. He has a high HP and high armor, but he has to play with very low HP often because he's going to be going in first and it's going to take a lot of damage. So you do what you can, and with the rolling boulder will sometimes just kill you. Let's see, Proxy in this middle lane. He's being searched out by the Tusk apparently. Has the Invis Rune. They're gonna pick him out. No Proxy. There goes the Nagasari Illusions. I think they saw this. They saw him grab the Invis Rune. I don't know if they know he's here but they kind of have an idea of where Proxy is. He's not that stealthy here with the Earth Spirits. Like, oh, I wonder where he went if he was walking this way. Huh? Yeah, probably walked over to us. Right. Now Speed Draw will be taken down by Roshan easily with the overpower as well. Yeah, I mean this is pretty good. Minute 9 Roshan, actually considering it, he only has Morbid Mask, but the new Ursa can take it down with just Morbid Mask, honestly. Because less HP, more armor, but he doesn't really care that much about the armor because of the Furious type deals a ridiculous amount of damage. And with this speed draw, he's having a bit of trouble, but he's going to use the Enrage very soon. Yeah, the Enrage can heal himself back up. The Enrage deal a bit of extra damage, put a bit more Furious Swipes up to 26, and he gets that Roshan early on before minute 10, before he gets that boost in armor as well. That's very important. And with that, he gets a bit of extra golden experience, so it actually is going really well this time for the guys at XIAODIAN. I would argue that better than last game, because even though Mongolz has gotten a couple more kills, similar to last game, they got a couple of kills early on, they are not suffering too much in terms of the farm or the carry, especially Nagasari, but Disruptor's dead. I didn't even bother casting that, because we saw it, and Disruptor was just being harassed and destroyed it. There's nothing much you could do about it. Now, DM... Careful, he has the snowball and the ice shards available. Okay, he evaded the possible attack of the teammate and even kills the Crystal Maiden. The end will sacrifice himself though, just to hit off that Crystal Maiden. Was it worth it? Support for support? Definitely not, because that's a position 4 plus position 5. If you look at the levels, you actually see the Crystal Maiden being above his level, so maybe it was worth it if you're the guys at XIAODIAN, just because you got a bit more experience with the Tusk. That's quite important here. So yeah, we'll chalk it up. You also used the Mana Void on that, and you didn't lose your Aegis, and you put a lot of pressure onto the enemy, and was forced to retreat from that lane. So a lot of factors, going in there. Invoker will now be grabbing a set of drums. Apparently, that is an item I haven't seen in a while on an Invoker. Okay, that is a very interesting item. Over even the Yule Scepter. Nowadays, oh, they're clearing all the stacks. That's bad. That is bad. I believe these stacks were made for not for the anti-mage, obviously. I think they're made for the Darkseer or the Nagasari, one of the two, because this is the safe flame from the XIAODIAN, so I can only imagine that they would make stacks for their carries, right? Not maybe the Ursa with the Aftershock or the Earthshock as well, but most likely the Nagasari want to use those stacks, and they just clear him with a freezing field, and that gives a lot of gold to the Crystal Maiden, a lot of experience split between them, so it ends up working pretty well for the guys at Mongolz, and they also take away all the stacks. Really? Plus 25 damage over plus the 10% magic resistance? How dare you, Ursa? Even though the 10% magic resistance is so good. No, kidding. That sucks. Blink Dagger for the Ursa. Straight up this time. So more than asking the Blink Dagger, but you can see what happens how effective this build is when the timing is much better off. It's when the timing is not, minute 15, you get both. It's much more effective for the Ursa as he can start getting kills now. The Roshan early on really helped him out, and he's maintaining himself above the anti-mage in terms of farm, which is important before the anti-mage grabs his Battle Fury, because then he's going to start snowballing out of control, and he's going to be able to really out-farm you. Or in this mid lane, careful by the way, as XIAODIAN wants to go onto the anti-mage, but yeah, I mean wants to go into the Invoker. They do want to put a bit of pressure onto this Invoker at this point, especially with the Tusk pick. However, the issue is that you don't have you also want to create a lot of space for your Ursa and your Naga Siren to farm, so you don't want to overextend in terms of your aggression, right? Especially before the Blink Dagger. Now the Blink Dagger came out for speed draw, it will be the time to maybe even a smoke gank or something of the sort will be quite effective. That Blink Dagger will change the world for the Ursa, especially against an Invoker that only has drums. I mean, since he did not go for his Zags, or his Zag still was delayed so much, he's gonna be much weaker this game. Oh no, Masquerade, what are you doing? There's a haste though, but nobody cares as they just static storm him right in the middle of that kinetic field. A very well placed sentry in the middle of the trees sees him and destroys him. As the Nyx Assassin not only loses his haste rune because of his death, but also gives an extra kill to the Ursa. So that's a great play here by XIAODIAN. Very small thing, but not having a Nyx with haste is great. Or not having to fight it against the Nyx with haste, if you get what I mean. Right. Naga Siren is still farming really efficiently, and in fact her radiance is gonna come at a very fast timing. That is a ridiculously fast radiance. Jesus, for Naga Siren you expect radiance minute 16, 17, even 20 is acceptable, especially against a team with a Crystal Maiden and an Earth Spirit who's gonna put some pressure onto you. But apparently that did not work out for them. If she gets it before the Battle Fury on the anti-mage, that's gonna be huge. Huge, or around the same time even. I mean, the anti-mage is really close to his Battle Fury, so that's probably not going to happen. He's going to get a pretty good timing for his Battle Fury too. 14 minutes in with treads is more than expected, but it's better than expected. Sorry, not more than expected. It's better than expected considering that the average timing of Battle Fury with treads is usually 15 minutes in, right? So 15 minutes in, say 14 minutes in this case for the anti-mage. Not even actually, a bit, 14 and a half or so. And then he'll be able to farm out of control. But the Naga Siren is going to be able to get that radiance at the stable timing as well of 15 minutes. Even maybe 14 minutes in. Jesus Christ, that's really good. That is really good. Just one more bounty or one more creep and then she's got it. And the anti-mage is still one more creep away as well. Yeah. I mean, in this case, one of the timings don't really matter. It's much more important to farm efficiently. Just be like, oh, I want the timing, I want the timing. I mean, the timing for these items still does matter within a certain range, right? Okay, that Iron Shell, really annoying as Masquerade is going to get a stun on the Dark Sword and on the Ursa. Now a Static Storm to prevent the Ursa from dying. The Glimpse brings the Earth Spirit back into no man's land, and Proxy is going to be chased down by an Ursa, very angry man, who now gets 2 kills on the enemy supports. The Radiance now comes on the Naga Siren, and the Anti-Mage also got his Battle Fury, so around the same timing, minute 15, 14:30 to 15 is when all these big items come, and now it is a time for both teams to really power or attack. You know, it's the time for the Naga Siren to come back into the game and say, yeah, I've been here the whole time, turns out, and to use the illusions for something. Oh, what just happened? The speed draw just go down bottom and commit suicide? I actually did not see that at all. What just happened? Why would he be there? I guess it was a safe lane. They had a very aggressive ward. Oh, and Pale gonna catch out this Disruptor, the Sunstrike as well, and Mongolz getting 2 free kills down bottom. Okay, that is surprising. I was not expecting that to happen, but it worked pretty well for them. And even though the drums came out for the Invoker, and the Ags usually should, you know, it's a priority because of how strong the Ags is. He's farmed himself so well because of those drums and because of the extra movement speed they're giving it, that he's actually been able to get the Ags at decent timing regardless of other drums or not. Being able to get it before mid 20 is ideal, and then you can fight much sooner. And I was going to make a comment on this earlier that, well, if you kind of go for drums, then you delay the Ags ever so slightly. But it's considerable, especially in a game when you're up against Naga Siren, and he's a ticking time bomb in any team, so you really don't want him to take this late game. However, he got his Ags at a very good timing anyway, so not really that big a deal. I mostly delayed it one extra minute, and that's it. That's more of well played by R than anything else, because it's between yeah, this Ags Invoker is working. It's gonna work wonders against the Naga Siren. And now she's still quite weak. Only a Radiance makes her pretty susceptible to damage. A Sunstrike will finish her off, and they even use a Freezing Field. They committed everything to that. The Root, the Boulder Smash. It's a good amount of chain stuns. The Naga Siren couldn't really do much. They made sure that she couldn't, you know, mirror image out of the Root by just Boulder Smashing her directly, and even using the Freezing Field to deal an extra bit of damage. And now the Invoker gets Ags. 17 minutes in, not bad at all, and he's gonna be able to cause many more team fights, making it so that the Ursa is going to become much more of a weaker character because he doesn't have his BKB yet. In fact, he's going for Desolator to create some more space for the Naga Siren, and that is going to be his grade. He does decide to go for Desolator. You're fighting against an Ags Invoker, you're fighting against an Earth Spirit and a Crystal Maiden. As Ursa, you need the BKB. The Nyx Assassin too. They're all insanely annoying, and they're all going to destroy you if you don't have Magic Immunity. Of course, the issue is that if you fighting without magic immunity, you also aren't wasting charges of your BKB. So you have a longer BKB, which in the case of Ursa is quite important because Ursa really does need some well, a long BKB, so he can just destroy people quickly. His 5-second BKB is not as useful as it is on heroes like Anti-Mage, for example, or on Troll Warlord, where all they want to do is destroy 1 or 2. A 5-second BKB getting it, say, minute 30, because say you get your BKB minute 20, right? And then by minute 30, it's already a 5-second BKB. Then you're screwed completely because you're at the point where, okay, I mean, you're screwed completely because you're minute 30 when you're supposed to peak. You're supposed to be the strongest carry in the game at that point, and you're still incredibly weak, and because you can't face the enemy spells. So getting that BKB early is a very huge gamble here, and you can see the Ursa decide to go for Vlad's first. Then now, I want to say it's still a BKB. I'll read this later, even though you do have the Blightstone. That kill on the Anti-Mage is pretty good, by the way. That's the importance of a Static Storm. It's a 0 cast point spell. There's no way you can blink away from it or do anything. The only way you can really stop that Static Storm is with a Hurricane Pike or Force Staff or other. But of course, you're never going to use a Force Staff or a Hurricane Pike or anything of the sort to destroy or get rid of the Static Storm. They are dangerous. It's a dangerous spell, and you are going to die a couple times to it, but you cannot pick up a Force Staff on a Anti-Mage. I love crazy intimidations and everything, but there's a limit to it, and that's Force Staff on Anti-Mage. It's the only way to stop it, really. It's not because you can't really Force Staff yourself out of the kinetic field, but while it's forming, you should be able to, and you can easily Force Staff yourself out of Static Storm, whereas you can't walk away from it. You can always just go for a bunch of movement speed with a Manta Style, which gives you, I think it's 10? I think Manta Style gives you 10. Or 12? 10% move speed, yeah, I was right. And then Sanjin Yasha gives you a 12, right? No, 16%. Sanjin Yasha literally doubles it. So, maybe the consideration even to go for Sanjin Yasha this game. But, of course, the Manta Style is too good for the Anti-Mage. But that would be the case, right? You have to go for, like, a movement speed item or something like that, too. If you really want to beat that. Wow. Did he almost just Mana Void Illusion? That's obviously an illusion. Oh, I should have ensnared you. Yeah, there's no way she would have followed that. Let's see how it works. Let's see how strong the Disruptor becomes later on. That's really the question. You know, how powerful can his Static Storms be? Can they catch the Invoker and the Anti-Mage? Especially if they can catch the Invoker, Anti-Mage, and Nyx, then you're in a bad position. Even in the Nyx using Spike Corpus earlier, it just puts you in a horrendous position. Oh, Starkid. And he's getting a BKB soon. Oh, sorry, not Starkid. The RR. Interesting. Okay, I was gonna say, like, it's a BKB and Anti-Mage so already seems a bit of a mistake. But R getting a BKB, much more understandable. Actually, you want to stop the Static Storm from happening, or from hurting you. You don't want the Vacuum Static Storm combo, and you stop with some of the radiance damage, etc, etc. Sure, the Ensnare still goes through, but you don't care too much about Ensnare. Worst case scenario, you can go Linkage or something like Glimpse and the Ensnare. And since there's no other way of cancelling it but the Snowball, and the Snowball doesn't really cancel until it hits you, then you should be perfectly fine. In fact, if it even stops the Snowball, that's quite fine, because that puts you in quite a dangerous position. And the Walrus Punch. Yeah, everything. The linkage is really good this game, actually. In fact, for the Anti-Mage, I would even argue that you want to go for the Aghanims this game. Because, sure, they can go for Silver Edge to take away your Aghanims, and I've heard that argument, but that's... I find that a very weak argument, because if you're going to force an Ursa to go for a whole Silver Edge just to counter your Anti-Mage. Oh, wow. That was a double kill. No? Jaeger just died to the neutrals. Okay, Proxy came in with a Magnetize, and yeah, Jaeger just died to the neutrals there. No big deal, not a big play. Point is, again, with a Theory Crafting, which is the part I'm interested in here. No, but if you have the Aghanims on the Anti-Mage, we've seen Lincolns very preferred by pros over Aghanims for... Honestly, I want to say a strange reason, because a lot of games you think, okay, they have like a Nyx Assassin or something, and they do have some combos that can really screw over your Anti-Mage, sure. But most of the time, it just seems like a lack of understanding of what the Aghanims really does. Oh, that was a really good Sunstrike combo. I mean, Impale, Sunstrike, and then the Knockout Siren goes down. Most of the time, it's really a lack of understanding what the Aghanims does and how powerful it is. Because even though they can break it with a passive and the stats for Lincolns are slightly better, Aghanims is cheaper and has a lower cooldown. And when you're really concerned about the spells, getting an Ensnare on Mago Siren, for example, getting a Walrus Punch on the same Tusk. And the one thing that I do argue that Lincoln is considerably better than Anti-Mage Ags is definitely that the power to put it on someone else, right? The Lincolns is really useful. But in this game, since it's a 4 protect 1, at most you're going to be able to put a Lincolns on the Invoker. Regardless, you want a Lincolns on the Invoker anyway. So you want Lincolns, Invoker, Aghanim's, Anti-Mage, and then, you know, put a Lincolns on the Anti-Mage plus his Aghanim's. Very powerful. He's going to be unkillable, essentially, once he gets a... I mean, nothing is going to be able to stop him, because all the spells here that XD has. The only one, I suppose, would not be that it could break, I guess, the Aghanims or break the Lincolns would be Thunderstrike. But even Thunderstrike is not that bad because of the fact that you have the Aghanims and you get the vision on them. Sorry. You get the vision on them with the Thunderstrike, and that's very powerful. So, being able to initiate like that, you have an Invoker Soundstrike, you can really utilize that vision. Oh, also, something I love about it, by the way, is a Snowball doesn't actually proc Lincoln, still hits you, right? So, okay, for procs is dead. Oh, Boulder Smash plus Rolling Boulder, able to save him. No TP, but no need for it. They just take the tower instead. Right. So, the thing I do love about the Aghanims here is the direction has with Snowball is very weird, but the Snowball only procs it once it hits you. And this is an interesting Song of Siren coming down bottom, but the Tornado just going to stop the Song of Siren from happening, and they're not going to find anyone else in the end. That was a weird hit. So, since it only procs when it hits you, the Aghanims will return it once it hits you, so you can choose to release a Snowball, and they can even use the Snowball. They can use a Snowball very intelligently, and the Tusk just, okay, starts moving away and grabs like a 4-step, so there's that possibility, of course. But usually you're going to have a Snowball for free for your team, where you can actually save everyone from the attack. So that's not bad. The only issue that's kind of bugged right now, so you are not allowed to put more people into your Snowball, but that's something that hopefully they just fix up. And Proxy, you know, just hitting the Naga Siren and making sure that the Naga does enough damage. Yeah, I mean, that's a usage of the Magnetize only to deal with illusions, but I don't think it's that bad. There's what we were talking about already. The Glimpse. It's not only used to get the kills on, again, 5 Linus. The second that you see a mistaken positioning, you see someone playing a bit too aggressively, you know you have an Ursa, so he goes down in 2 seconds. It's fantastic. Now, 1 second blink cooldown over evasion. Interesting. And they'll now be taking this tower in the top lane. That's a tier 2 for the anti-mage. Oh, if it's the Earth Shock, wouldn't really matter. He doesn't have any stun anyway, but the vacuum is still available. Wouldn't catch a Nyx Assassin. They were not expecting that. The Impale comes. That Static Storm, though, prevents the anti-mage from blinking away. He still has the Manta Style. He can walk away from it, and the kinetic field won't catch him in time. And they don't know exactly where he is. He's going to blink away into the forward position. Sanke has been found out, though, and they still want to catch him. He still keeps blinking, and that blink with an extra amount of range because he's max level and with a reduced cooldown. Now, makes it impossible to catch his poor anti-mage. Well, Invoker opting for the 125 health, so he wants to get the Forge Spirits early on, and I understand that idea. You're almost full level for Quas. You don't need that many levels for Quas. At this point, the only thing that you really care about Quas in your Forge Spirits is the attack range it gives you, so it works fine. Tornado hits a creep. Hits absolutely nothing besides that. Great. Sanke, meanwhile, continues to farm. He has a... Oh, he's gonna go for Lincolns. God damn it. God, Sanke! We had a whole theory crafting session, man. I thought we had something special. Why are you going for the Lincolns? Seriously, the Aghanims is so much better this game specifically. To glimpse away the Disruptor, to get your own Snowball, to ensnare the Naga Siren. You put them in such dangerous positions. Hell, even if they force-staff you, they force-staffing themselves. Honestly, it's starting to become a thing where I do believe that pros are just afraid because they don't try that item as often. Because that item is not as well known. It must be. It has to be. It really is. Because it's weird. It would be weird that it'd be otherwise. It'd be weird that they always pick the Lincolns. Like, that means the Ags is horrendous as an item. And I don't think that's true. And even if this Ursa goes... The argument of Ursa going Silver Edge to counter your Ags is like, what? Really? If he's going to go for that, then yeah, you're welcome. Let them win the game. He went Silver Edge just to counter your Ags. Which is, Silver Edge in general is not that good against you, so it's not like you care that much against him. Oh, EMP, careful. Oh, he's been caught by the tip of that Ice Wall, forced to use the BKB, and he might actually go down to damage from the Invoker. That last hit, no, the Enrage prevents the damage from happening. There's a Vacuum Wall replica ready, the Static Storm also catches too, and that's the Invoker and the Anti-Mage. Invoker uses the BKB to save himself, and the Anti-Mage just finishes off this poor Disruptor. Now they go onto the Darkseer, they Frostbite him in the silence, and he is dead. And the only one that survives is the Ursa the Naga Siren, because they were smart enough to leave when they had the chance. That Invoker does not give any shits, and neither does the anti-mage. I mean, he got silenced, and he decided to just split into 3, and those 3 brothers committed a massacre of epic proportions against the Disruptor's family and the Tusk as well. So that worked wonderfully for them. If only he had if only he had Ags, I'd be happy. And our Spirit will have a Force Staff now coming up. Now the Hand of Midas as well for... I like the idea of a Hand of Midas and Earth Spirit actually. Giving you the 90 gold per minute later on, and then you can go for 300 health and minus 45-second respawn time when it's in time. Yeah, please don't go for rolling bullets or damage. I mean, it's kind of surprising. I saw, I think, one Earth Spirit game where it went for rolling boulder damage, and I think that might have won the game because of the factor of surprise. It just reached level 25. Minute 60 or so, and then boom, in comes the Earth Spirit, 400 damage from the rolling boulder. Like, what just hit me? You know, it's like you actually just got hit by a truck, and then that's surprise attack because it's a pretty low cooldown spell anyway, especially if you get a lot of levels of it. It actually deals up to, I mean, it's 400 damage every 4 seconds. It's pretty ridiculous. If it wasn't because you have to actually, you know, impact on someone, it would be a pretty OP spell or a pretty OP talent, I suppose. And with that, Masquerade turned into a Nyx and going in against the Ursa. He's ready for the attack. They have a very perfect ward. The Frostbite, even the Sunstrike, he has not used Enrage just yet. He's been stunned for too long. The Geomagnetic Grip to bring him down. And that Spike Carpus, by the way, stomps the Nagasar in their tracks. He can't use the Song of the Siren just yet. The Glimpse brings the Nyx Assassin back, but they keep wanting to fight in the middle of the Song of the Siren. R deals a lot of damage. And actually, the Antimage has not been caught by that stun either. Dion will be destroyed by the Mana Void, and the Nagasar has just lost their whole team alone. The Impale will not catch her in time. They wanted to use the Spike Carpus, but it was on cooldown. And in the end, they will just kill 3 for the price of none. So it ends up being pretty good. Really good position by Sanka. I actually quite appreciate that. That's quite fantastic. And a BKB that was used by the Invoker. That BKB is doing wonders for the Invoker. And he's going for Lincolns. And of course he has to go for Lincolns, right? It's the Basher on the Invoker, or the Anti-Mage right now. Okay. That Basher is going to help him against the Ursa, especially because you don't want it, or you want to be able to fight 1v1 against them. Look at Nyx, how much he's using the Spike Carpet just to stun this, or stop this push from happening. I like it, because you actually prevent the Riptide for a couple seconds, and if everyone else Riptide, say you're... It's a really weird... That was interesting. He didn't see actually the tornado catching him. Okay, it's a really weird thing, because it seems useless to use a Spike Carpet or to stun illusions or whatever, but they can't use Riptide while it happens, and paying attention to every single one of your illusions is rare and almost impossible, honestly, if you're at Nagasaren. If you're playing the proper Nagasaren, you're not going to be checking every single illusion, seeing which one's silenced, which one's not. Not even how... It doesn't matter how good you are in micro, it's just... There are times where you want to spam Riptide, and times where you don't. And if they're going to Spike Carpus your illusion for like a whole 2 seconds, 2.2 seconds, I believe it's this time, 2.4, then you're just going to use Riptide on the rest of the illusions and get farmed that way. So you're preventing a whole avenue of farm just by using a single Spike Carpus, which is a 10-second cooldown spell with 40 mana cost. So that's actually quite strong if you think of it that way. Right, the Riptide is more of a farming spell at this point in the game because of how the illusions use it. And by being able to stun one of them out, either with the Impale or with the Spike Carpus, then you guarantee that they don't get that lane of farm, or at least the Nagasaren doesn't, so you can't snowball and farm too much. And you can tell the effect of this because it is clear to me that Mongolz have been, pretty much shutting down the Nagasaren's farm as much as they can, and the Nagasaren is less farm than the Anti-Mage and the Invoker. An Invoker with Midas, which should not be beating you in terms of farm, no way in hell, right? And they just did it because they're playing pretty well. In addition to the fact that they're winning this game, obviously, because the Ursa, look at his farm, he's also very screwed. But yeah, he's at 14k when you should be much higher than that. But you get the idea. They're sacrificing a lot of farm for the Nagasaren. First of all, so it makes sense that your cores are under farm. That's where you pick someone like Ursa or Darkseer who do well with very few items. Look at that, see, another Riptide that was failed because of Proxy's stun and his silence as well. And they actually don't know, but this is the real Nagasaren. Yep, there's the Sunstrike. Where is it coming out? No, the Glimpse will still hurt the Nyx Assassin, but the Nagasaren is just has to turn Radiance off and walk away. The Glimpse goes in. Sorry, the Nyx goes in with the stun. Now the Radiance has been turned off, and the Impale won't catch her out. So for now, she's still alive. They actually managed to get a kill on the backlines, those against Love It. They're still trying to chase Gentleman. Masquerade has the Vendetta, and they've broken her TP, so she can't actually move too much. They don't know where she is. And with the radiance turned off, they can't really detect her speed draw, though. We'll get a kill on the Invoker while this whole thing is happening. Adiuka just trying to find the gentleman out. Sonla's Siren finally comes up, but she has no TP. She has to walk away the courier just to get vision. They kill the courier. And the anti-mage is now joining into the fray. They want to kill her off. Oh, they find her. There it is. The Frostbite. Now the final kill from Sanke. But in exchange for a courier, that kill did not actually work out well in their favor, because Mongolz was winning in terms of net worth advantage, and the Invoker there as well. So, the courier, oh, it doesn't even show me the courier death, but they get 445 gold. The Naga Siren loses 500, so it's decent. But losing the Invoker there was quite big. I didn't even see what happened, because obviously I was just watching the Naga Siren run away. But yeah, I mean, that worked out, I suppose, for XIAODIAN more than anything, because killing the courier and killing Naga Siren pretty useful. Static Storm onto the anti-mage doesn't do anything. The kinetic field even catches him, but Sanke is pretty tanky at this point. Has to blink away. Won't be able to do so, though. The Walrus Punch making sure he stops there. And the Crystal Maiden is stuck in the wall of her own ice, as Adiuka will just be brought down thanks to the vision they have in this area. They even used the dust, I think. They committed the dust to that. Yeah. It was worth it against the Crystal Maiden. Just completely annihilated. And the anti-mage there, man fought the Disruptor, which I think was fine, but playing a bit too aggressively, using the blink a bit too early, made it so that the blink was on cooldown with the Static Storm, or with the Static Storm the kinetic field came out. Since the blink was on cooldown, he thought, why the hell would I even bother blinking if I can just kill him? Because he's going to glimpse me away anyway, right? If I can't blink. If I was to start walking away, he's going to glimpse me away anyway. So it's a good idea what the anti-mage decided to do. However, obviously the rest of the team was there, so he couldn't really do much else. He's playing according to his strategy. Oh, hope makes assassins. Ceases to exist on our current plane of reality, and the next assassin will now be joining the dead for 60 seconds as the Ursa takes the Roshan, which comes with a free cheese. As the Roshan has been fermenting the cheese for ages, the family recipe has been brought down by his family. Proxy himself wants to commit suicide. I see all these, there's all these deaths that I'm not capturing on camera because they're just these really, weird throat. There's really like suicidal, quick deaths that they're not working out for anyone in XIAODIAN or anyone in Mongolz, where they just kind of go in and then commit suicide because they're trying to get a mega play and they don't get it on because it's just a 1 versus 5. And I'm not showing those on camera because there's no point in just them shaming the players for making bad plays, right? As you can see, I'll catch him sometimes I won't. It's just not that important. The more important thing there was the cheese and the ages. Being able to take that cheese is actually huge because you can give it to Naga Siren as well, so she can make more healthy illusions. Mind you, it's more healthy, not healthier illusions. It's literally more healthy illusions, as in a greater quantity of healthier illusions. That makes sense. Because after all, the mirror image also depends on your health and whatnot. So does the monster and whatnot. So if you're really low on health, you'd rather use the cheese here. They didn't give her the ages for that reason. I mean, the Ursa kept both for now because the Ursa are going to use both actually, but the Ursa can give the cheese to the Naga Siren mid-team fight, no problem. And you don't have the backpack penalty if you're giving it to someone, so that's a pretty big thing actually, considering that. Naga Siren second, you know, drops whatever item that doesn't need. In fact, if you look at her. What can Naga Siren drop? Like the bottle, the wind. Why do you still have a windlass? The windlass, maybe. I mean, the windlass is a pretty good idea to keep on, just because of the maximum wind speed it gives you. Makes you very versatile as a hero. That's just one style boost. It makes you really fast. But regardless, dropping the bottle of the windlass early on in the team fight, and then you can get the cheese up, and you pretty much win any team fight you fight against. Every team. I mean, the score has completely sailed. XIAODIAN, apparently the Kings of Comebacks have dropped this game back completely. Yo Scepter from Jaeger. There's the cold snap. Jaeger! God, see, the poor Jaeger. That wasn't a bad time. I mean, he was in the bad neighborhood, you know. And they just found, it's like, Essay, what you doing in my territory? And they just killed him. Oh, Proxy. The stun from the vacuum to ensure that he doesn't leave. Actually, the freezing field was a tornado. This might actually be a team fight from Proxy, as Diana's stuck in the ice wall, can't really move away. The Naga Siren helping out with really annoying sleep. And now the question is, do they want to keep fighting this? The Invoker's still available, but Ardiuka has gotten rooted by that Naga Siren. In comes Speedrug, wants to go into the Invoker. The Invoker has no way of surviving Speedrug's damage, and he will go down to the Ursa. Crystal Maiden keeps force-stuffing herself and gliding around the place, but this poor little princess will eventually be brought down by the amount of damage that the Naga Siren is dealing. Masquerade, similar similarly is able to stun out the Naga Siren with a beautiful usage of the Spike Carpus. However, he will end up going down regardless as the anti-mage forces the split push in the top lane. Naga Siren just joins in quickly saying, who is the queen of split push? That is me. At best anti-mage, you are the king, but everyone knows what how chess works. The king might be very important, but he's absolutely useless, whereas the queen does everything for your team, and that is the Naga Siren. She does everything for your team. Wins a team fight, goes top defense, Rex pushes every single lane. Fantastic. Done. And I mean, not getting kill on the anti-mage there, not too big a deal because you got the kill on the invoker anyway, so forcing a kill on that guy is really not relevant for you. And you use Song of Siren every 45 seconds now at this point. It's a ridiculous skill time every 45 seconds, by the way, with the Octreak core. It's insane. It is insane. Playing ridiculously defensive with this. And then every 45, literally, you can only fight every 45 seconds. And the Song of Siren lasts 7 seconds, right? So you can fight for 38 seconds. You have 38 seconds to fight. Every single team fight, assuming they don't have a reset button. And even with a reset button, they can literally leave the team fight. So in terms of choosing your own engagements, you just can't against a Naga Siren. You either beat her early, or at this point, you have to let her choose the engagements, and you have to somehow fight against them with... actually, the best picks against Naga Siren usually tend to be Tide Hunter, a Warlock. If he does not get caught, that's Naga Siren, obviously. If he's a good Warlock. What else? A Darkseer is pretty decent against her, so it's good that they picked her together. Hell, even... No, yeah, those are the picks. I mean, and I'm dying as well, because I think the structure keeps producing units, despite the fact that it's being slept. Illusion battle! Da, 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 da. I wonder if they're smoked up or not. Just 3 illusions just came out of actual nowhere. Yeah, that was... I don't know what the thought was. I think they just want to really reveal their smoke at this point. I know there's a ward up there, so they take the ward down, and they just reveal their smoke and say, screw it. We just use this one. You know that already. But Tusk is going for Ag? Why? Wow. Okay. That said, Gentleman is going to find 2, and Song of Siren. He even catches the Invoker. Oh, and destroys the Smoke Gang. Lovely. Lovely. The tornadoes also missed, but it's a pretty good tornado. Now they actually stun the Naga Siren. This is going to be important, as Naga Siren is taking a lot of damage. She's going to be popped with a Mana Void. And with that, the guys at Mongolz regain the game that they were losing as they take another kill onto the Tusk. They want to kill something else, but right now the time is to push and take objectives, do something important. You can't really stand around. Sanke has an immense amount of pushing power, so you have to utilize that for something. He went for BKB. Oh, wow. BKB Lincolns. He's a very defensive anti-mage. That's not good. You don't have enough damage to put. Well, actually, you have a decent amount of damage, a double damage. He's just going to take this tower down. Sanke also has a really good stack as well. Oh, no, he went for the minus 50-second Mana Void cooldown? Really? Oh, with the 25 agility? What are you gonna... I mean, I guess Naga Siren, I suppose, but... Yeah, she does have a pretty nice mana pool. Actually, I see that. I see that happening. You know, constantly pop with Mana Voids. Yeah, sure. Anyway, Sanke with the Alacrity should be able to take these towers quite quickly. They don't want to be come back upon a second time. They're really tired of this stupid team. Oh, Vacuum Ball Replica, but the BKB as well, used by Speedra. He joins in and stuns the anti-mage. He's actually going to kill him. Sanke has to blink away the last second. The Glimmer Cape helped him out. And now Masquerade is counter-attacking him against his Mother Bear. And she's been rooted, Ice Walled, and subsequently destroyed by the Invoker. No, the Yo Scepter. They need to save her somehow. They won't be able to. Agilment the Grip finishes her off, and Sanke keeps hitting this tower. He is confident that he can take it, and he wants to take at least the lane of Rax, but the Song of the Siren is coming in, and that reset button is ensuring a couple kills. The Blink Dagger from Nyx though to prevent the damage to the Ensnare, and the Nyx like, okay, what neighborhood is this? Please someone give me Google Maps, I want to get out of here, as the anti-mage joins him, and that's the ride he was looking for. They kill the Darkseer quickly, and now they can force a kill on the Naga Siren, but the Naga Siren is playing pretty aggressively because she knows she can win right now in the bottom lane as well. Ryuka has been fighting her own 1v1 against her enemy of the ice, that being the Tusk, and Masquerade is coming in to join. Diana is in for a surprise if he does decide to keep on fighting this. The Ice Shard comes out, there's the Impale, it hits him right as it comes out of the Snowball, the Frostbite, the Sunstrike is even going to hit, and they don't even need the Sunstrike damage. The Ursa has been stopped in his tracks with a Yo Scepter. They need some other way to stop him though. There's the Diffusal Blade. Adiuka is fighting with all of her might to survive. This Crystal Maiden will make it out alive. No, the Radiance will bring her down, and the Nyx Assassin will suffer the same fate because of the Ursa's damage. God, I love this Crystal Maiden. Ariuka, you are a champion. You've been fighting, blood, sweat, and tears I'm seeing. Literally more of your blood, though. But, you know, blood, sweat, and tears, tooth and nail you've been fighting to just keep yourself alive in every single team fight. And they just hate you. You can't do anything. You're a grandma stuck in this fight. You know, where are your grandchildren? Who's helping you out with your computer? It's insane. But, you know, she's making it for quite a long time. They gotta kill the Tusk out of that, first of all. And they forced a lot of time out of Nagasara, forcing her to, instead of farm, as she should be doing, she's just, you know, losing a lot of time. Yeah, what is Darkseer just got? Darkseer health. What is this third town? 10% cooldown reduction, okay. You said Darkseer Echo Saber, not this game apparently. The extra AoE for Vacuum is not that useful, especially with Nagasara Ultimate. You're more concerned about the cooldown. The Aghanim's of the Tusk is something I'm very interested in. Why would he go Ags? He does deal a bit of the extra damage. It is magical damage though. So it's not as good as getting the Walrus Punch, obviously. It does pierce magical immunity though, which is good, so you can actually stop someone. It is a way to stop. Oh, I never thought of that. It's a way to cancel those Lincolns that the enemy team has gone. So maybe that's the goal. Yeah, that was not gonna work here. Oh, he grabbed the cheeky invisibility rune. Why? Why did he grab the invisibility rune? You know the enemy team has a gem, right? You do know. Pretty sure they discovered it beforehand. I mean, I've seen them multiple times not carry with invisibility. Regardless, you should assume they have a gem. And you're gonna sacrifice yourself for an Invis rune. They're pushing your towers. Why do you care that they have an Invis rune? One of those plays. Alright. What? Is that Dagon? Is that Dagon on the Earth? What is the Earth Sprint? It's almost a level 3 Dagon. I didn't notice this. Okay, oh, then they go onto the poor Invoker. Are about to die. Really low on health. And one last hit from the extendable class of the Ursa is going to kill the Invoker. They force the buyback now on both their carries. And now they're going to go on Speed Draw, who's about to die, but he's resisting a lot of damage. Shanka keeps on fighting him, though. The Tornado will catch him out eventually. And now everyone is sleeping. It seems like an old kid's TV shows where it's time to go to bed. But the Monoboy won't reach the Ursa in time. They need to reach him with a rolling boulder. The Dagon! It has to be a Dagon snipe. They will get it. Proxy managing to use that Dagon officially and getting the kill on the Ursa eventually. He did go for the spell amplification. That explains why. Wow. This game is getting very intense. I'm very much enjoying it. It's a pity that the whole thing happened in the early game because I forgot about the banner because this game is going well. I mean, both teams are playing pretty well. There's some crazy items coming out like that Dagon just to destroy the Nagasara with his spell amplification. I see the point of that anyway. And I mean, this Earth Sprint is committed to destroy this illusion. Look at that. Boom. Finally, illusion is gone. That gives you a bit of experience. The E-Blade on Nyx. Please tell me you went for the 40. E-Blade on Nyx is really fun if you go for the 40 agility. I think otherwise you might as well go for the... Your agility game is not that great, so you might as well just go for the... Aghanim's this game. Actually, Aghanim's against the Disruptor is really weak, so and the E-Blade is really strong against the Ursa. And it can even stop. I believe the Aghanim's or the E-Blade should stop the Walrus Punch from happening at the very least. I'm not entirely certain, but I don't think you can cast that with the E-Blade. So that's actually not bad. Yeah, and that's what the plan is for the E-Blade and not for the damage E-Blade, which is obvious. So, yeah, that's not bad. You can even use it as against someone as well if they think they're gonna die against the Ursa. It's not like the Ghost Scepter's bad this game at all. The Nagasara barely deals any magical damage at this point, though. She's mostly, I mean, she does grab Octarine Core, but it's honestly the Octarine Core Radiance combination. Her magical damage is very limited to that and Riptide is 20. So you can either Ghost Scepter yourself and save yourself from a lot of damage. Okay, the Songasar just to gain a bit more time. This is quite dangerous actually, because now that you wasted the Songasar just to gain a bit more time. And you're waiting for those to come back, so the team fight's gonna happen. If Mongolz wants to keep on fighting this and taking advantage of their ages, they can. And that's the scary part. If they wanna just go on to you, this is the time to do so. And you really can't do much against the Tornado comes out. You don't have a reset button, so okay, let's stop by the snare, and now the Invoker about to die. They try to help him out, but the E-Blade comes a bit too late. Masquerade can't save his teammate, and his teammate is dead for 120 seconds, and he lost that Aegis. Sorry, he lost that buyback. Next assassin will also die. They will find the rolling bullet within the Earth Spirit. They have to stun him out. They can't do so. The Earth Spirit has been doing wonders this game. Sanke himself also runs out. They take the melee Rex though in the mid lane, so that's pretty good for the guys at XD. Or sorry, for the guys at Mongolz. Yeah, they force a buyback onto the next assassin who has to just come into lane and just try to defend with the Impale. He does not have the Burrow or the Aghanim, so he's not able to defend as well as he would. He's one of the best high ground defenders in that situation, but whatever. He can do what he can. Oh. There's Naga Siren being stunned out. Oh, Dian, careful. Walter's Walrus punches anti-mage. In fact, Walrus kick. He's gonna go down as a result. Anti-mage still has the Aegis, so that's a dead Tusk for nothing. Crystal Maiden buys back into the game because she has the freezing field. She's ready to attack. And the glimpse for the Naga Siren. They really want to deal some damage to her, but they don't. Sorry, the glimpse is for the anti-mage. They can't really glimpse the Naga Siren, obviously. And the Earth Spray will die. The Ursa just finds him and destroys him. The Static Storm now catches down two of the vacuum to bring him in. And the anti-mage is going to lose his Aegis here. A triple impale though. The freezing field is to come out, and it does. As the Ursa starts receiving some damage to the freezing field, they ensnare to stop it. Now they want to go onto this Naga Siren. She's been stunned and has no more mana. The mana void deals so much damage, and the stun is ridiculous. Gentleman has to just walk away. The Yule Scepter herself up, so they can't move. And the Naga Siren will end up going down as Sanke is looking for another kill. This one being on the Ursa. Speed draw, careful. He has no mana, and the mana void is about to be ready. The pop is happening. There's no need for it, as he just kills him based on auto attacks. Dian does a bit of trickery there with the Blink Dagger, but well, I mean, they already forced his buyback, and they managed to kill everyone else in the team, forcing a buyback from the Crystal May, a dieback, mind you, but no dieback from the Nyx Assassin. I believe the Earth Spirit also had a dieback. Yes, but you know, best thing you can do. Oh, Dusk actually dies here. Didn't think he would be caught. Sanke just decides, yeah, screw it. We're gonna finish him off. He needs a butterfly as well, more stats because he did not go for the 25 agility, so you actually don't hit that hard. So the extra agility from the butterfly is very, very necessary. You can't go for heart or those kind of items when you have a link in some BKB. That Sanke will be able to take the lane of really quickly. Like ridiculously quickly, and just proceed to push onto Tiger. I think she's been ready. He has Alacrity onto him. Amanda style as well. Oh, Tornado catches out Naga Siren. She has the Song of Siren already used. They want to kill this one first, and they actually dealt a considerable amount of damage to him. Oh, the ensnare. And Nyx evades him with the Yule Scepter. Really good. The Diffusal Blade to bring him down from that Tornado, and Masquerade will go down eventually. That's a dieback for him, just because he wanted to kill on the Disruptor. And with that, the rest of Mongolz will just leave, knowing that this is a very dangerous game. And the Naga Siren game, going to 60 minutes. No surprise there. Even though your team has a lead, if there's a Naga Siren, say goodbye to it, because she is the shit. No, that's the Naga Siren theme song. Every time she gets picked, that sounds in my head. In case you didn't know. But no, in all seriousness though, they're actually quite screwed because XIAODIAN wants to fight, and they all have buybacks. Any single kill they get is beneficial. And they know there's no Aegis on the anti-mage. So if they kill him once like they did last time with that vacuum, that's win. And there's no need to split push because the Naga Siren actually went for more of a keep-oriented draft or fight with the Diffusal Blade and the Hard Thrust. Well, no, I'm sorry, the Diffusal Blade mainly, and even going for the Child Blue Supplement too. So she's ready to fight, and that's what they're looking for, and that's what they should do. And they have a really good team fight. It is XIAODIAN's turn to just try to push these towers, and I use Song of Siren pretty efficiently. They use it, and they're ready for the anti-mage. Static Storm. And they're just gonna push it at the end. There it is. As well. Ursa comes in, he's been muted, he can't use BKB. You get the Static Storm, the anti-mage is as good as dead, and there's no buyback onto him. That's the enemy carry completely gone. Ursa starts hitting these towers, so does the Naga Siren. That Dagon just to put a bit of pressure here, but in comes the snowball, and now the Walrus kick. They're gonna be able to do it. They're gonna use it efficiently. The Ice Shard stops the Air Spirit from attacking, but this Invoker in the freezing field just destroyed the Ursa and the Disruptor. Gentleman keeps on fighting, but that Tusk did nothing, and he just has to leave. The Naga Siren eventually popped by the Mana Void, and it seems like this team fight was going so well for XIAODIAN after killing the anti-mage. Turns around very badly. In comes the Invoker with the Shivas. No need for it. The Earth Spirit is just a drive-by shooting here with the Dagon. And with that, the guys at Mongolz will be losing. They will be winning another team fight, getting another team wipe, and able to now push these towers with an anti-mage. Just has had the best luck in the world and comes with a double damage. They either force buybacks now with their own or nothing. Like they can't. Don't go for the shrine, for God's sake, Sanke! Go for the throne. It's time to just beat him. It's not time to go for melee creeps. It's time to go for the throne. You have a double damage. Seriously, dude. It was just, yeah, attacking the shrine for a bit, waiting for the backdoor protection to come out. Cool. That's okay. That's what they were doing. Now the backdoor protection's gone. Alacrity's been wasted here. It doesn't really matter. They get a second try anyway, and they still have double damage for the second try of the Alacrity. Oh, it's still hitting pretty hard. Look at the anti-mage go. Oh god, they even go into the base and they want to kill the disruptor. Bye-bye Static Storm, but they caught two. That is a Nyx assassin and Earth Spirit, both dead in the Static Storm. Proxy and Nyx. Oh, I'm not happy with that tornado. We'll catch the Darkseer. They're not concerned with him, though. The Ice Wall. Now the Cold Up as well. The Abyssal Blade. They want to make sure they kill the offlaner. That's a full team wipe. Nobody has buybacks. This is GG. Mongolz will finally take this game number 2 against the Naga Siren, and they will ensure to create the first tie in the ProDota SEA Cup season number 7. Because they managed to get the second game against XIAODIAN. No comeback for you, they say to the Singaporeans, and the Mongolians will be taking this second game. We will be coming with game number 3 very shortly, guys, so I have to just retreat very quickly. It's game number 3 between the Prime NND versus Nasty Potatoes. That'll be the second game of the day today, so we'll go with that shortly. Not much to be said about this game. Honestly, I've said it all during the game itself. Mongolz had the lead, but you're playing against the Naga Siren. You have to play a bit more defensively you have to play a bit more aggressively early on. They couldn't really do so. Naga Siren got her farm. They still played very well later on by using a good use to the BKBs and very defensive build on the anti-mage and on the Invoker. Also, beautiful Dagon pickup by Earth Spirit. Worked wonders for them in the late game. That's it, guys. My name's been DSwordfish. Hope you've enjoyed the game. If you did, feel free to follow me on Twitter. If you did not, feel free to tell me why in the comments. And I will see you guys very shortly with the next game of the day between Nasty Potatoes and the Prime NND. Alright, we'll be back in a few minutes. So enjoy some music while you wait.